friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Summer and I'm here to bring you what I read in 2024 vlog style. So last year I vlogged a lot but never posted a single thing. Very incomplete vlogs, I guess you could say. But I thought it'd be fun to bring you up to speed to what I read last year and intermit clips. We'll see how it works. If this is a full fail, then we will just pretend this intro clip doesn't exist. Okay? Yay. Great. Anyways, I hope you're having a great day. I have a coffee. It's a Tuesday. The sun is out. There's no more really snow left. And we're here to talk about books. So let's be bookish together. Yeah. If you're enjoying me, I would love it if you subscribe to me. I know sometimes I'm not consistent, but you know what? I am hilarious. And I read some cool books. And I would like to admit that I am not like every vlogger, bookish vlogger. What am I trying to say? I cannot read as much as everyone else does. So this is not going to be like I read 250 books. Girl, I wish I could be you. I feel like even if this was my full-time job, there would be absolutely no way that I'd be able to read that many books. But maybe I'm selling myself short. I don't know. Anyways, this is what I feel like real look into a person who worked full-time last year, 45 hours a week, and what they were able to read. You know, does that make sense? Like, sometimes when I watch all the girlies on BookTube, I'm like, damn, I'm so jealous, or I suck at reading, or whatever. So this is my just outlook on it's okay no matter what you read. And not even that the girlies are even trying to be like that. Just this is me being a perfectionist and wanting to be perfect at everything and wanting to be the best at everything. So this is my own bullshit, not yours. Okay? Anyways, yeah, I hope you are interested. I hope you stick around. And if you find me funny or want to follow my journey on my crazy, chaotic reading bookish life, please subscribe. And let me know down below what you read last year and what your favorite book was. I'd love to know. So let's get into it, shall we? I think we shall. Cheers, 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 cheers. Also, this is just a white chocolate mocha latte? I don't know. I don't know the difference. So it's a coffee. It's an espresso. It's a milky little frothy drink. Okay. So, let me flip to the beginning, where it all began last year. Let's talk about it. The first book I read last year was The Kingdom of Sweets by Erica Johansson. Yeah, Erica Johansson. The Kingdom of Sweets. Now, don't mind my freaking cat. Last video, or not last video, what I want to read in 2025, my 25 books of 2025, I told you that I had a little demon boy, a little Travis, who loves to chew on papers. And if you leave a book cover around, he will find it and he will put his teeth through it. Okay, so I wish it wasn't so, but it is. Anyways, The Kingdom of Sweets, Erica Johansson. I gave this 3.5 rounded down to a 3. Let's see what I wrote about it on Goodreads. Loved the beginning of the book, wasn't in love with the end. I think it was my fault for not loving the end because I accidentally predetermined how I wanted the story to end. And when I didn't get that, I was a bit disappointed. Also, the end felt pretty rushed, but the vibes, the atmosphere, I was like, what does that word say? We're top tier. When I tell you, if you're looking for this is the perfect book, I think, to read around Christmas time, because the descriptions in this book pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. I would say this is kind of like a loosely based nutcracker? What? Loosely based nutcracker retelling. So yeah, 3.5 rounded down to a 3, not because of anything it could have done, but because I was predetermining things I shouldn't have. But the vibes. I loved it. I loved the descriptions, and it was fun. All right, there's that one. Let's keep it moving, shall we? Next up that I read was Storyville, New Orleans, being an authentic illustration account of the notorious red light district by Al Rose. This is a historical textbook. This is a nonfiction, of course, and it was published in 1974. I read this for my podcast, paying for it. So if you're interested in the ladies of the evening and Storyville, which is a true place in history in New Orleans, it was a legal red light district, and it was the longest legal red light district in American history. I would highly suggest going over to paying for it, listening to it. I have a whole series on it. I have a whole series on Storyville, how it became Storyville, and it's top tier if that's something you're interested in. If you're a history buff, top tier, okay? Even if you're not a history buff and you're just kind of interested in ladies or the vibes of that time, very good. Now, I will say for my nonfictions, especially nonfictions of red light districts or madams and stuff like that, 5 stars. You know, it ain't easy bringing something like this alive in a textbook. I will also say, if you read this, you have to remember that it's 1974 that this was published, and it's by a guy, and he brings some prejudgment. He brings some prejudgment. Prejudgment? What am I trying to say? Prejudgment. She can read, but she can't talk. But yeah, so though I gave it 5 stars, that is because I give all my nonfictions 5 stars, so hint moving forward. But also, there were things in here on his like opinion, his biases, stuff like that, not the biggest fan of. But the overall story of what was being told, loved. Excuse me while I go talk to I'm gonna bring her in here with me, and I hope that she won't meow. She's having a day, to be honest. She's having a day. She's not happy. She wants 7 million things, and she's gonna tell me about it. Dreamy is she my old lady. She's my senior girl, and she's been through a lot. So I try not to get mad at her for when she's got things to say, but sometimes she got lots of things to say, and you just can't make her happy. So let's see if we can get her to lay down in here and relax with us. It might not work. We'll see. Okay, let's move on though to the next. That would be Candy Cane Kills by Brian McAuley. I believe that's how you say it. work. If you know, I work in bars. And so he is a professor at one of the colleges here in Texas, and he does literature. He knows I love horror, so he recommended this to me. I was like, let's do it. So I got this, and let me read to you what I said about it on Goodreads. This was a 4-star read for me, and went into it thinking I was getting a camp, but instead got a very gruesome Christmas slasher. Merry Christmas. So this was, this was gruesome and very intense. And, you know, you kind of think with the name, the vibes, it's giving camp. I love a camp. But it was not camp. It was very gruesome, very intense, and a short little read. So, yeah, would recommend if you like horror. Very good. Very gruesome, though. So remember that going in if you're not into that. Okay, the next ones that I read, I only have 2 of the 3. Yeah, I only have 2 of the 3, and that was the STEM series that Ali Hazelwood did, and this was the Love Hypothesis, Love Theoretically, and Love on the Brain. So it goes Love Hypothesis, which was a 4-star, Love on the Brain, which was a 5-star, and Love Theoretically, which was a 4-star. I did a vlog that actually got released on this one. So please go check it out because I put a lot of time in it, and I did it around Valentine's Day, and it's so cute and adorable. So if that's something you're into, if you love romances, check it out and see what my actual thoughts were. Okay, moving right along, the next book I read, which is book 8, is going to be Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and boy, oh boy, did I love this one. This is a 5-star. Yeah, I stayed up until 5 a.m. reading this book, knowing I had to get up for work at 9 a.m. So I was obsessed, okay? And listen, is it so silly? Yeah. Is it, like, sometimes cringy? Hell yeah. But was I in love? Yeah. It brought me back to my Twilight days, okay? And I was here for it. I can't wait. I hope that she brings us another one because I really want another one. Yeah. So that was that. That's how much I loved that one. Like, I was obsessed. I was like, we're here. We're stuck. We're reading. And it's been a very long time since I've done that. So you have to know I was into it, obsessed. I kept telling myself the whole time, like, I'm going to go to bed after this chapter. I'm going to lay down after this chapter. There was absolutely no reason for me to stay up that long, but I still did. And I do not regret it. Okay? On to the next. That would be A Guidebook to Sin by Pamela D. Cannot say her last name. It is very French, and I wish I could. So I'm just This is the Blue Books of Storyville, New Orleans. This is a book again on Storyville and specifically their pamphlets that they were known for to advertise their businesses. Okay, so this one is a 5-star, and even if it wasn't a nonfiction, this would have been a 5-star. This was, well, first of all, this book is stunning. This will be my prized possession. I am quite obsessed. I'm quite obsessed with this book. I love it so much. I love to display it. The inside cover is when you take the flap off, is beautiful too. Just that's how I feel about it, okay? I did a reading vlog on this, so I highly recommend you check that out as well. I'll link it down below. This one I went to some coffee shops and hung out and just vibed out and did this. I also highly recommend, again, checking out Paying For It, my podcast about the ladies of the night, and the Storyville series. This was part of it. On to the next. this is a book that I do not own, but hopefully will soon change that, and that is Ninth House by Leah Badeau. Okay, I've just gotten to work, but I went to McDonald's and got my cute little Shamrock Shake. I got it in a small because I literally cannot finish a full one, so that'll be good. And I also got a little meal. Even though I eat for free at work, I plan on bringing some dip home because I plan on, today's my Friday, so I can stay up a little bit later, and I want to edit a little bit, so that's my plan. I'm gonna eat my lunch and listen to Morbid a little bit, and then head into my work and hopefully get some time to read start to read Ninth House. So yeah, okay, see you soon. Okay, 4.5 stars. Absolutely obsessed. I adore Alex, and I love all of her morally gray ways. Okay, I love her morally gray ways. I was into it. It's a very dark academia book, and yeah, I was here for it. Here for it. She will be a forever read for me because wow. And that's all I gotta say about that. Okay, on to the next. Book 10 was I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jenna McCarty. Okay, hello. She's so cute. Okay, sorry, I got distracted by my cute freaking earrings. Today is Thursday, February 29th. Leap year, baby. We're gonna go to the library later today, but before I do that, we are moving soon. So we're leaving this apartment soon, and we're trying to rent a house, hopefully. And we found one that we're interested in, so I'm gonna drive over there and kind of check it out and check out their backyard area is what we're really looking to get a look at. And yeah, so we're gonna do that. Also, while I'm over there, I'm gonna stop by some of their stores around them, because I learned that that's very important where you're living, is to enjoy where you go shopping, enjoy the stores, and make sure they like have a good selection, because as an adult, you learn that not all stores have the same fucking selection. So, yeah. So we're going to do that first. But first things first, before we start this journey, I need to go get some water. And then Dutch Bros is, they got a online leap year sticker. But I did make my coffee at home. So I might not get a coffee, but I might get a coffee. We'll see. You know? But yeah, let's get going. First things first, your girl needs some water. We're going to the gas station. Let's do it. Okay, so I just drove down to the house for rent, and I realized that I'm actually very familiar with the area that the house is located in, which is so silly that I drove all the way here. But also it's good because I wanted to look at the backyard. But I did think I was going to go to the stores, but I'm very familiar. I actually used to live very close to this neighborhood, so I spent a lot of time over here. So I don't really need to go to the stores because I already know the stores. So yeah, I might grab some lunch and head back closer to my library. So I will check in soon, and yeah, see you then. nonfiction, so yeah, there's that. This was a tough read. I listened to it on audio, and it's narrated by Jeanette. I'm calling her Jenna, and that's not even the right name. Jeanette. This is a story about the girl who plays... Oh, gosh. Okay, she's a Nickelodeon star. She plays the... I wasn't really into this show, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you, but that's okay. iCarly. Wow, took me a minute. Okay, people are probably screaming at me. She is narrating her life and why her relationship with her mom was so tumultuous and why she says she's glad her mom died, which seems so harsh. But when you get into her story and you listen to her entire life, it's rough and it's incredibly sad, but it was such a good story to listen to, and it makes me sad that a lot of women specifically have relationships like that with their mothers. I'm so happy that my mom was taught me to love myself, and I'm so happy that I'm lucky enough to have a good relationship with my mom, but not a lot of people do have that kind of relationship, and the type of relationship that she had is very common for girls. Maybe not to this extent, but whoa, it was a sad read for sure. So know that if you pick it up, that it's a very dark read, but it was very eye-opening. Also, to some of the, Nickelodeon stuff, because she goes into a little bit of that, but a lot of it was based on her, life and relationship with her mother. So, yeah, moving on. Another book I do not own, and that was The Poppy Wars by R.F. Kuang, and I didn't rate this book. I'm not sure why. I think I'm going to go back and rate it. I still don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. And that's why I'm on the fence about if I want to finish the series or not. It is also a very hard read. Well, okay, it's weird because the first part of the book is not. You're in a school. It's kind of like bully-esque, and dark academia-esque. But then you're in it and you're like... Yeah, part 2 happens and the whole book changes. And you're in war and it's very intense. So what did I say? I didn't rate this book, I guess, and I think it was because it actually hurt my soul. I haven't decided on if I'm going to continue this series. And it did hurt my soul because it touches on things that were really fucking hard to get into. And this is loosely based on a war. So some of the things that are written about, are true. And it's just, there is one scene in this that haunts my soul. And yeah, so that's how I felt about that. I read that on a recommendation from a coworker, and yeah, ooh, ow. Moving right along to another one I do not own, but hopefully we'll be changing that because I know book 3 hopefully will be coming out soon, hopefully. And that's Hellbent by Leigh Bourdeaux. This is book 2 in the Alex Stern series, and this was a 5-star. Holy shit, was this a 5-star? I cannot wait for book 3. I literally cannot wait. I love Alex. Like I said before, I love her morally freaking gray ways. I love her character. I think she feeds my soul in a way. She is the perfect morally gray character to me. Like, some of the things that she did in book 1 and book 2, I was just like, Yes. So, yeah. And I love the little relationship that's happening with her and the main male character, which at the moment I don't remember his name. Okay, and I'm sorry. But yeah, I cannot wait for book 3. Cannot wait for it to get going, and I hope it's coming out soon. Please, 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 please bring it to me. Okay. On to the next. That would be a very St. Patrick's. Oh, let me try again. A Very Vegas St. Patrick's Day by Kaylee Loring and Connor Chris. I didn't know it was written by 2 people. Holiday romance series that Kaylee Loring has. I have most of them. I think there's a few more that I have to get that have come out after this one. But I gave this one a 4 stars because it's a romance, it's silly, it's cute, and Very Holiday is the series called. So this is book 3 and Very Holiday. And love this series just as an easy peasy, sweet, and great reads, great palette cleansers. And I love a floppy paperback. On to the next. The next book I read was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. And this was a series recommended to me by a coworker and a friend, now not just a coworker. About 120 pages in on chapter 16 of Throne of Glass, my first book of the month, and I am loving her so far. I hope the rest of my reading experience goes like this because so far I'm invested, I'm obsessed, and I'm in love. Okay. Hello, friends. Okay, so today is April 5th. It is Friday, and I'm about 60% through. It would help if I put it the right way. Throne of Glass. And I am still very much loving it. I love our main character, Selena, however you say it. I talked to my friend at work yesterday, and I asked her, like, how do you say the captain of the guard's name? And she's like, oh, you're gonna hate it. It's kale, like the food. And I was like, huh? Kale? Okay. It is not spelled that way. It doesn't seem like it should be said that way, but
I believe her. I believe her. Yeah, keep my freaking bedroom TV on the bin because we don't have the stand, and that's not even the TV that's going out here. So, you know, judge all you want. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Moving's tough, especially when you do it between a whole month, okay? Anyways, yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving the suspense, the slow build, the slow tension. I think I have determined who her full romance is gonna be with throughout this series. I'm pretty sure it's the prince, duh. Okay, of course it's the prince. Of course, they're just meshing. But it's also like Kale doesn't want it to happen. Not that I think he's jealous of their, if that were to happen, I think he's just very protective of the prince. But he's kind of protective of her too. He's kind of in like, not into her, but kind of like I said, I think it's like a brotherly almost vibe with them. So we shall see. But yeah, I'm like 60% in. People are dying left and right. Some like monster is like taking them out, which is interesting. My theory at the moment is that it's Kane and Duke Parrington. Is that how you say his name? But I also wonder if it's Kane and the king, because the king's been gone. I'm curious to see who it is. I'm curious to find out who it is. Yeah, but that's my theory. I'm curious to see how this series progresses, and I'm curious to see how this book ends. Because I know that I started this at the beginning of the month because I was very excited for it, and I cannot touch the next series until at least May. Rough for me. Pete, my cat, stealing my chair right now. It's technically he thinks it's his chair, so who's stealing whose chair, really? So yeah, that is where we're at. My theories and my prediction is that the monster eating the competition is either Kane calling his Duke or Kane calling the king. Because he was messing around with the Wida marks, I think that's how you call them. These marks that are all around the castle. He was seen kind of like observing them or like fucking with them. And now those marks are being found at each crime scene. So I definitely think Kane has something to do with it. Then there is, who he's calling. I have a feeling it's the king. We shall see. The interesting part is that the first queen of Adeline is how I'm going to say it, even though I'm almost positive that's wrong. Selena found their tomb, or her tomb, and since then, the first queen has been visiting her, telling her she has to win the championship. And Selena's like, bitch, duh. Duh. You don't have to tell me twice. This is how I win my freedom. But the queen's like, no, you have to win it so that you can destroy the evil that's within this kingdom. She's like, I don't know about that. I will do the first part for sure. But she's invested. So she's been doing research. She's been trying to investigate. Kale is slowly kind of bringing her in on the investigation too, because he notices that she's one, highly skilled, and two, highly intelligent. Now, let's talk about the romance between the prince and Selena. So Prince Dorian and Selena, he like sneaks up to her room whenever he has the opportunity. And he's caught her playing piano. He's caught her trying to learn pool. And so they have been bonding. And their little relationship is, so they do not interact that often in the book, but when they do, the tension there is beautiful. It's great. This is a very slow burn. Whatever, romance, very slow burn. It's mostly focused on the battle and her training and her trying to win and all that good stuff. Sorry, I needed a little sippy sip. So when they do get together, Sarah J. Maas does a really good job of writing that tension in for them very subtly, but like in your face, which doesn't make sense. That's very contradictory. But yeah, so that's where we're at. Like I said, I'm about 60% through, and I am going to really try to finish this by Sunday. Today is Friday. I want to try to finish it by Sunday. And yeah, I will keep you updated. And for those who have you read it, like, I know you are like probably screaming at me. Like, you don't even know the start of it, the half of it, girl. But yeah, in my opinion, I think Prince Dorian is plotting maybe like a uproar. Like, he does not like his dad. And I think, hello, I've got some tangles. I think he wants maybe his dad to be gone. But he's, of course, not going to tell an assassin that, you know? But he's very curious about this assassin because she's the first person who's like, first, I should say, lady who's given him some sort of like run for his money when it comes to holding her own in a conversation and they both love to read. And I just want to put that welcome goblins in there because why not? But they both love to read. They both are very curious and they like to learn, and she is very intelligent and he is like into that because his mom, the queen, wants him to marry off to like one of the ladies that are like available that are of his status, I suppose, but he's not into it. He's like, and he truly feels like you should marry for love. And like Selena, like when he told her that, like laughed because she was like, you're the prince. You kind of marry for contract so you can have love on the side. And he's like, no, I don't want that. And he's looking for someone who matches his smarts and keeps him like he can actually have a partner, you know? And I think he's seeing that this is the first woman that's ever come into his life that is like that, and he's into it. He's really into her. But he's also trying to be like, don't forget she's an assassin. Like, is this real? Or is she like leading him on? But he's also noticing that she's making friends everywhere she goes. Like, even some of the other competitors within this competition, she's making friends with. People are helping her. People see the writing on the wall where it comes that it's going to be Kane and her on the final, that they feel that that's how it's happening. So some of the other competitors have been helping her win, or at least helping her along the way. Not really helping her win, but she's very strong in certain aspects. But just a moment ago in one of the chapters or one of the tests that they do, there was a poison test, and one of the competitors who's kind of been in the back watching, observing, pretty quiet, they forgot that he was like a skilled poisoner. Like that was what he was, like a criminal for. So he helped her win with him. They both won because he also got the poisons right. They had to like identify and line up the poisons from most harmless to least harmless. That doesn't make sense. That's the same thing. Most or least harmless to most harmful. There we go. Words. So she was stuck between two glasses, and the night before, the first queen had visited her in her sleep, maybe, and told her to look to her right. So at one point, she looks to her right, and the poisoner is looking at her with the same cups, and he's like, the wine is harmless, put that here. The water will kill you, but that at the end. So, like, technically, she kind of cheated, and he kind of let her cheat off of him, but she was like, I'm okay with it. And now she's like, well, the first queen is like helping me through this because she's telling me to look to my right. But I also think the queen said, be careful of your right, which when she was in her bed, she looked to her right and it was the tapestry. I think she needs to be very careful of someone coming through that and attacking her. So yeah, we're leading up to finding out who the freaking monster is that's tearing people apart. Will there be some kind of like actual affection between, because I know they want to kiss each other, the Prince and Selena, or is it gonna slow burn this entire series? We'll find out. And my other prediction is that another romance is gonna be between Kale, the captain of the guard, and Naomi, the princess. So, mark my words, we'll be doing this reading vlog for a while, clearly, date books. So, I'm going to come back to this when I'm editing and be like, how close was I to being so right or so wrong? Oh, Cataline, she's another girl. She's a little side character that we've been getting POVs from. And she is not my fave. She is clearly not great because she wants the prince. She's there, like, promised to the Duke of Paddington or whatever. She don't like him. She's really just used him to get into the door to try to get to the prince. And she seems to have like some weird headache. So what if she's the monster? I don't think she is. But I know she's going to be trouble throughout this, at least this book or this series. So we shall see. So yeah, those are my predictions. And that's where we're at. I'm going to continue to read. And I will update you soon. Maybe at the end. We'll see if I update you again. Or if I'm at that part where I'm pretty sure shit's about to hit the fan. So I might just speed read the end. You know, we'll find out.
I have finished the first in the series, Throne of Glass. And baby, I have thoughts, okay? I have so many questions. This book has taken me on the weirdest of journeys because every time I thought I had figured it out, in one part I was right. I know in one part I was right, but this book left me with so many damn questions that I was just like, huh? Huh? I know it's a series. I know I have a long, long way to go. 7 more books, okay? But I have thoughts, questions that did not get answered. So let's talk about it. Let me read to you what I wrote my friend who recommended this to me. Okay, so this is what I wrote to her. Did I have actual anxiety in reading the final battle? Yes. Was I so happy that Cain died? Yes. Do I adore the assassin and can't wait to see where her story goes? Also, yes. Am I still confused as fuck on which one is her actual love interest? How is this not a love triangle? Unless you're telling me she's truly just out with the prince, which would be surprising since she spent the last half of the book making out with him. But the fucking tension between her and the captain is just like, huh? So clearly there. Also, it seems like she's definitely throwing out the vibes towards the captain. So are the captain and I just reading into things that aren't there? The prince, though, is already saying he's in love. And now he's gonna be a heartbreak boy. The mass confusion. I'm also like, you know what, girl? You go if you want your freedom and are like, fuck these boys. However, I don't believe her when she says that. Also, fuck this king. I can't wait for her and what I'm hoping the prince to take out his ass of a father. She's supposed to be queen, right? Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's why she can see the first queen and magic and all that. She's got all the vibes for the queen. So yeah, that's where I was at, okay? With finishing this book. It gave me answers to what it should have, but left me with so many more questions that I was like, I'm sorry, hello? Huh? What? When I got into book 1, girly did not know what was about to happen to her. Okay. This was a 4-star for me. Let me tell you how getting into this, I was naive and just unaware of what was about to happen to my heart and soul. And if you know, you know. The whole time I was texting my friend and being like, I'm confused who her love interest is. I'm confused. Is it Kale or Dorian? Who's she gonna be with? Oh, sweetheart, you just wait. So that was that. And on to the next. Okay, the next one was Basketful of Heads by Joe Hill. Sorry guys, sorry, so sorry. Sorry, baby. This morning when I was drinking some coffee, I picked up a basket full of heads and I read it in one sitting and I quite loved it. I quite enjoyed it. The story was good. And so yeah, I really enjoyed it. This is Stephen King's son, and he is also a horror author. And this one was a manga or comic book. I think comic book because I don't think it's a manga, because I think mangas read backwards. But this was a very unique story. So I gave this one 4 stars. I had a great 4-star, or I'm just very easy on books. I don't know. I used to be very harsh. Maybe now I'm just too easy. 4 stars. This was a good little spooky comic book. And I loved the twist at the ending. I loved it. So yeah. Yeah. And we're moving on to book 16. And that is one that I got on Kindle, and it's done and dusted, by Lila Sage. This is a 4-star read for me. This is the book 1 in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. And if you've been following my videos, I've talked a lot about this series. Yeah, I love this series. I love the characters. I love the stories, and it's also another good little palate cleanser romance that is just fun and easy and doesn't break your fucking heart, okay? Which, some of these books I read last year broke my damn heart. Thank you, Sarah J. Maas, you evil little genius. Okay, so I will not talk much about that because I have talked so much about that in the past few videos. Book 17 was something I do not own, and it was Paper Girls. It was a comic as well, and it's by Brian K. Vaughan. This, I think, was my worst book of the year. I did not like this, and that's okay. It gave me actually a little bit of a book slump reading this, and it was not meant for me. But a lot of people do actually really love this series, and so I know that it is for someone. It just wasn't for me, and I probably should have just stopped reading it. And that is something I'm going to work on this year, is being done with a book that I'm not vibing with. If I'm not feeling it, just putting it away. Sometimes I DNF a book and come back to it and I'm like, yes. There are other times where I push myself through the book because I know I'll never get to it again. If I put it down, it's done. But that is okay. I need to just release them. Release them back into the world for people who will enjoy them. This was a library book. I don't know why I forced myself through it. I did though, and I did not like it. On to the next. That would be The Only One Left by Riley Sager. And if that is the case, we are going on a bike ride. That's right. We're going biking. But yeah, let's start with a coffee and some reading, shall we? I think so. Okay, so I've been riding for like 15 minutes and I found the trail. I was a little worried that I wasn't gonna find the trail. It's pretty active. I came up to a fork in the road, so I don't know if I should have gone straight or turned, but you learn a trail by riding it and walking it. So here we are. I'm a little out of breath because I haven't exercised in a very long time. But we're gonna keep going and see if, I haven't found any benches or anything, so we're gonna keep going to see if we can find some benches to sit, eat, and read for a little bit. I will update soon. Friends, today is Tuesday, April 30th, and it has been a month. It's been a month. Why I thought reading 8 books in a month that I was moving would be easy, I don't know. I have no idea. But you know what? We're coming to the end and we are crossing this finish line, even if I have to drag myself through, okay? So let's give you an update. Let's get to Riley Sager, the only one left. I've told you that me and Riley have a complicated relationship. And yeah, it is very complicated because, well, sometimes I love his books. Sometimes I am not the biggest fan of his books, but I still end up enjoying them one way or another. And this one took me about 3 weeks to read. Well, 2 weeks. I finished it this morning. The first half of this book had me captivated, but then as I started getting into the story, well, I will tell you, one of the biggest reasons I had a hard time wanting to pick this book back up was because of the treatment of one of the main characters. I really did not like it. It really bothered me to my core, so I had a hard time picking it back up. And as you learn all of the facts of her story, you're like, God, that is incredibly sad. So yeah, I had a hard time with the treatment of one of the main characters in this book, but also I figured it out kind of right away. Like, yeah, I kind of figured it out right away. There was one part in there that I was like, oh, okay, that's how this works. But with the solving of the crime, with the everything, yeah, I was like, okay, I think I figured it out a little less than halfway through. And yeah, with that and the treatment of the character and the main character not being smart-witted in any, not smart-witted, that's not the right word, but just using logical thinking, or not even logical thinking. What am I trying to say? With her not even, like, she just jumped to conclusions so fast, so often, that I was just like, damn girl, give yourself time to process some of this before you just fly off the deep end in every single case. Yeah. So I don't know what I'm gonna give it as a rating yet, because it was very well written. It just wasn't a book that I loved. And I should have known with Riley Sager it could have gone one or two ways. I was really hoping I'd eat that shit up, and you know what? At first I did, but then I stopped. So that's where I'm at. 7 of the 8 books on the last day. The last book is The Library of the Unwritten. And I've already told you that if I can get started on this book, hopefully 100 pages in tonight, before I go to sleep, then I'm gonna give myself grace and consider this a win for me, okay? I'm considering it a win. Is that cheating? I don't know, probably. But do I care? This is for fun. This is for funsies. So that's what I'm doing. I am sure glad to be done with the graphic novels though. Moving forward, I just think that unless it's like a specific, like these are just random ones that I picked up that I just saw and was like, okay. I had to really want to read it. Like A Basket Full of Heads, I really wanted to read that. It's one I bought. But I bought it before knowing it was a graphic novel, to be honest. But I did really enjoy it because it was a horror graphic novel, and I think those are something I vibe with. But maybe the young adult ones are not for me. I don't even know if the other two are young adult. I think they are, but yeah, I just am not vibing with them. So we're learning something about ourselves. We are not vibing with graphic novels. Anyways, that is where we're at. I'm gonna pick up The Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hackwith, and hopefully we love this one. I feel like this was not a great reading month for me. I really did enjoy my first book that I read though, so there's that. Throne of Glass, that's what it's called, Throne of Glass. So hopefully we finish it out strong, because we started strong. We'll see. Yeah, my ice maker just made some ice, so it's gonna get loud in here. That's where we're at though. I'll check in soon. Bye. And I gave this one a 3 stars. It's a thriller. What did I say? Not my fave from him, but that's also probably because I've seen, and it's probably because I've also seen and predicted every twist in this book. Like, it was, to me, so predictable. And so I also read this right after Paper Girls, or right with Paper Girls, and so I also contribute this to a pretty bad book slump because it just was so predictable to me, and I wish it wasn't. But yeah, so this was not my favorite Riley Sager. And to be fair, Riley and I have a very complicated relationship. Everyone loves Riley. He is a beloved thriller writer. But to me, sometimes I get into his books and I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And then other times I'm like, no, 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 why? And that was this one. So, sorry, Riley. You're amazing and doing much better than I am, so it's fine. On to the next. Book 19 was Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. You'd think after all the times I've said her name, I would know it by now, but I don't. This was a 5-star. I loved their story, and again, I'm not going to talk too much about it because it is book 2 of the Rebel Blue Ranch series. So let's keep it moving. Next was a nonfiction, and that was Jose Arlington, The Life and Times of a New Orleans Madam by Martia Warwood Crandall? Wow, I hope I said that right. Hello, friends. Okay, welcome to a reading, writing vlog. This is the second of this kind of series or whatever I'm doing. And yeah, so we have talked about this before. I have started a little podcast called Paying For It, and it's all about the girls of our history, the ones who, you know, worked for it. They paved their own way. So this blog is going to be focused on me reading the Josie Arlington Storyville, The Life and Times of a New Orleans Madam, and that's my cat. They're playing in the bathtub. So this is the one we are reading for our next podcast episode. And yeah, so we're gonna just focus on reading this, taking notes, and then we'll start writing and rough drafting. I got a new notebook, because any excuse for a notebook. I've already started, so I'm on like chapter 8, I think. Yeah, so I've got a solid amount left still. And I've taken notes. I don't like to write in my books, so I have sticky notes all in here. You probably saw that last one. And yeah, so that's where we're at. We're still on the Storyville series on my podcast, and I'll link that down below, and I'll link last episode that I did on Blue Books if you're interested.
Okay, media will play softer.
What? Yeah, so I'll link that down below. I guess my Siri is just being weird. I don't know. But yeah, so that's where we're at. We're gonna focus on, today's goal is to finish reading this. And I have gotten a little timeline started on her life of all like the actual days or years at least that we know of her life, because sometimes books like this usually never go in chronicle like timeline order, because some of these stories, this one's starts her life. She's born in 1864, so it's not like we have the best records of like their entire life. Like we don't know what we did or what she did every day of her life, because you know, social media, not a thing. So a lot of this information that we have on these ladies and stuff like that are like newspaper articles and stuff. So when people write books, a lot of it is not in chronological order, because a lot of the dates and years can be not quite clear. A lot of it's a mystery to history sometimes, is what I like to say. But Josie, I don't know why I call her Josie. It's Josie. Josie was one of the most famous or infamous madams of Storyville, which was a legal red light district in New Orleans that ran from like 1897 to 1917. And it was extremely popular, extremely successful. And yeah, so it's one of when I learned about Storyville, it's what opened my eyes to this whole other world of history of the ladies who made beautiful lives and like very glamorous lives that we don't talk about. We never talk about these ladies because it's quote unquote like immoral or whatever, or they always paint them as the victim or troublesome or broken. But when you kind of like dig deep into the history of it, That's not really all the case. Like, yes, there are a lot of the stories of ladies who did fall into a sad life, but that's also the times. Like, you can compare it to the same thing as a man. Like, back then, like, it was not easy living back then, but there were a lot of cases of women who went into selling their wares, if you catch my drift, and made really good, successful businesses and lived successful and glamorous lives. It afforded them a different type of lifestyle for a woman that did not exist back then unless you went into the world of sin. And so, yeah, publicly you would be considered less than, but technically these ladies were having so much more freedom than they would have ever had they followed the traditional life path that the world wanted them to. So it's an interesting history to learn about, and I don't think it ever is talked about, and that's why Paying for It came along, is because I love to learn about it, I love to research it, and I want to tell people about it. So yeah, so today we are going to try to finish this book, take my notes, and then kind of organize my thoughts on where I want to go with her story, how I want to tell her story, and yeah, get to writing, I guess. So, shall we get started? I think we shall. See you soon. Friends, I have finished Jose Arlington's Storyville, and I've taken my notes, and I've learned stuff about her story that I did not know happened. So yeah, this book was a very interesting book. I got this thinking that, you know, the life and times of a New Orleans Madams makes me feel as if this book is gonna be, you know, telling me all about it. But a couple of the chapters aren't even focused on Jose, and I'm trying to be okay with that because I understand to tell Jose's story, you have to tell the history of New Orleans and Storyville and stuff. But yeah, it's still so good, and it is packed full of information about that time that I'm really fascinated by and everything, and her life that I wasn't aware of. And so yeah, this book is about one of the most famous madams of the Storyville era, and I have a whole episode on Paying for It about her and about her life and about her house and how she became so successful. To be fair, this book is about a white woman of history. There is another very famous, I would say arguably even more famous a little bit, and successful madam. Her name was Lulu White, and she was an African-American woman, and her story is very also unique, except I could not find a single book on her. Because if I could, I would have gotten it too and read it with her. But I do have a full episode on Lulu White as well. Jose and Lulu. They are the two big names of that era. And so, yeah. She is mentioned in here too. She's mentioned in all the books of the Storyville time. I just find it a little unfair, of course, that she doesn't have her own book out there. So I would love if someone would get to that. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I just thought I'd honorably mention her in this. 5 stars. Her story is very unique. If you want to know more about her and her life, I highly recommend going and checking out my podcast. Linked below. let's keep it moving. The Library of the Unwritten by AJ Hackwith. Okay, I have not put out my last vlog that I was working on, the readathon, magical readathon, because one, I failed, but I cheated. I cheated, failed, but cheated, didn't fail. I cheated and let myself not fail, is what I'm saying, I guess. My channel, my rules, I don't care. I don't care. So sorry. Yeah. Anyways, the last book I had to read, I said in that vlog that may or may not come out. We don't know. I'm embarrassed by it. Not the vlog itself, just the amount of leniencies I gave myself. But anyways, I said that if I could get to the first 100 pages in the last book that on my list, that I would consider that a pass before the end of the month, which I did do, okay? I did make that happen. I did. And then I was like, okay, that's great. I'm gonna finish this within the first couple days of the new month. We're now week 2. It's, like I said, May 5th, 10th, and I'm still reading it. I'm still reading The Library of the Unwritten, and it's not because I don't like it. I really am enjoying this book. I'm on chapter 30 and page 248. So I'm almost there, okay? But you know what my beige flag is? My beige flag is reading a synopsis and just always assuming a book is gonna be campy. Like, reading a synopsis, seeing that it has the potential not to be campy at all, and still expecting it to be campy, and then being shocked when it's not. Baby, this book is not campy, but is it wonderful? Yeah, it is. It's just taking me a lot longer. As soon as I started getting into it, I was like, oh, I'm gonna give this book its time, because I don't want to rush through it, because the story, and this is the start of a series and I do plan on continuing the series, but there's so much happening and there's so much like going on, and you're following how many different people? I think so you're following the Claire the librarian, Leto the teenage demon, and gosh, what's her name? The Muse. But the Muse has a name and I forget the Muse's name. Okay, well I can't remember the Muse's name right now, but and then Remy. I'm gonna call him Remy because I don't know how to say his name. The angel. But within those characters that you're following, there's other characters. So this is a very character heavy book, and a lot's going on and a lot's happening, and you're just like, but then you're still kind of like, what the fuck is happening? So yeah, I'm very much enjoying it, but as soon as I got into it, I realized, wow, this book, I need to give it its time. And I'm not someone who, the reason I kind of fell out of booktube the first time, and I saw myself doing this again last month, was that I found myself forcing books into my TBR. When I wanted the magical readathon, I wanted to do it. It's what it is. But I don't like to speed run books, because then like you're not really appreciating those books. And some books I'm like, I'm in it and I'm like, oh, we're not putting this book down. We are here and we're staying here until we're finished with here. But then there's other books that make you think and make you question everything, or just make you ponder, or a lot's going on like this one, and you just take your time with them. And I like to take my time with books. So yeah, I'm still here, still reading The Library of the Unwritten. It's been a really long time since I've gotten myself a paperback book, and I want to tell you, I forgot how much I love them. They're floppy. They're just fun to do that with. I love it. So Yeah, don't hate on paperbacks sometimes. I sometimes do like catch myself only when I buy a book only wanting to buy the hard copy because, well, one, they're awesome, but two, they're just like when you're putting the money into the book, you might as well. I don't know. I like to show them off too anyway, so, but I got this one and I was like, oh, I love a paperback book sometimes. So yeah, that's where I'm at. My thought so far is that I like it a lot. Do I understand what's happening? Do I understand where we're running towards? No. Do I get what's about to, how this is gonna end? Not at all. Very confused, but still very much enjoying it. Very much enjoying, it's not like a world building, but I'm very much enjoying the character building and the little twists that are happening within the characters. And yeah, so I am enjoying this a lot. But man, has it been taking up my time. Plus I've been very busy with work and stuff, so I sometimes have to dedicate time to other things that usually go to reading. That is what it is. But we will finish this soon and then we will move on, okay? But yeah, that's where we're at right now. That's my little update for you currently. Hi friends. I think I'm horrible at vlogging, or at least weekly vlogging. For some reason I'm much better at a monthly vlogging thing, but wonder if we try a bi-weekly vlog. That's my thought process, because I started a vlog and then I said I had something super cool coming up on Saturday, babies, and I went to that super cool thing, which was the Ren Fair, and we did a lot of people watching. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but I didn't take a single photo. I didn't take a single video. I just took it all in selfishly for myself. But it was my first time going, so I think that's fair. Anywho, we did do that, and that was a lot of fun. We went and we had a couple of drinks and people watched and kind of walked around and took it in. Then I just went back to work. You know, that's how it goes. Now it's the next week. In fact, it's Thursday the next week. And I finally, today, finished The Library of the Unwritten. And it was so good. I loved it so much. I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed where the story went and what happened and all the little freaking things that went into it. But boy, oh boy, did it take me forever. And you know what? That's fair. It's okay. It's forgiveness that I can give myself because of that. I really did enjoy it. I gave it a 5 stars. It was such a good book. And I can't wait to continue the series. It just took me forever. And I was thinking, why? Why do books sometimes take me forever to read? Because in between me reading The Library of the Unwritten, I also read the next installment in the Done and Dusted, or the Rebel Ranch series. Swift and Saddled, that's it. Yeah, so I also read Swift and Saddled before I finished the Library of the Unwritten, and that took me 2 days. And it was so cute, and I loved our main characters in this one. I loved their story. Yeah, I vibed with it, and so yeah. But it was nice to get that little mental break, because the Library of the Unwritten, it was so, like, it was intense. It was an intense battle book that I read. Yeah, so that is that. Oh, can I just tell you how much I love a flappy ass paper book? Ah, this makes me so happy, I'm not gonna lie. And I love the smell. I got this book and I remembered, oh my God, I always love a hardback. They look nice, they look great to display. But then I get a freaking paperback and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot how much I love you. Anyways, this is a 5-star. Yeah, totally freaking loved it. This book, I cannot wait to finish the series. You know, I think there's only 3 books in the series, and I think that's the the total series. But I talked about this in my 25 for 2025. But basically, you're following a librarian who is works in the library for hell, okay? And she has to wrangle the unwritten characters, and they go on a journey, and it leads them in a lot of trouble. Great story. Cannot wait to continue the series. On to the next. Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. Yeah! The next time you'll see me is starting the next installment. Let me grab it. Yeah, I almost thought it said Crow for a second. I was like, wait. Crown of Midnight. And ooh, I cannot wait. I'm very excited to get back into her story, Selena's story, to get back into this world, to immerse myself in whatever is about to happen in this story. Yes. I'm also still planning on reading this. And so, yeah. I just grabbed it because it was on top of that one. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's where we're at. And I've blabbered. That's it. Blabbered long enough. So I'm back, and we've got a weird angle. Hopefully it's not horrible. I kind of like it, but I kind of know it's probably gonna be horrible. Anywho, let's take a sippy sip. What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, we jumped right back into it, and you know what? I love our little Selena. She's so funny, and she's also just skirting that line of like, am I bad? Am I good? Whose side am I on? Am I just out here being selfish for myself or what? I was curious to see when she truly became the king's assassin how she was going to handle that, because I knew he was going to send her on some motherfucking missions that she wasn't going to personally agree with, because oh, I'm so sorry, Dreamy. I clapped too loud for that girl. Scared the shit out of her while she's trying to sleep. What an asshole of me. I'm so sorry. I knew she wasn't gonna agree with him. She doesn't like the king. Let's face it. Well, let's face it. We have a dick of a king in this motherfucking world. He is horrific. Horrible. We do not like him. And, you know, we have, like, he's banned magic, which took the livelihoods away from so many people. And then also just like in general, go fuck yourself, dude. Like, what the hell? But he is allowed to. We kind of learned the last book that he allows magic. He does magic, and with his people, like some of his most trusted, he allows them to use magic. So we do not like a hypocritical fuck, okay? So can't wait for him to go bye-bye, which I think I'll be waiting for a while because like 8 books here, okay? But immediately, like the first
4 pages, I'm like over both boys. Kale, what the hell? Dorian, what the hell? Like, y'all knew what you guys were getting when you went and rescued her from the slave encampments. Come on. So now she wins this competition that you guys told her she had to win. She wins, and now you're mad at her for doing what she has to do? Excuse me. Excuse me. What the hell? What the hell? You know what? Over them. Over them. Did I just fall out of love with both of them? I think I might have. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it happens. But you know what? Apparently, she is 100% over the prince, Dorian. Still don't know. Dorian makes me think I'm calling him the fruit, and I'm pretty sure that is his name, but who knows? Yeah, so, my God, I'm so sorry. Let me just show you this cat that I keep petting. Oh my God, she's just so cute. Stop it. Okay. So, yeah, she's like, leave me alone. She basically just doesn't want anything to do with him anymore, which, you know, granted, he's one of the only people who did not try to save her in any aspect in the battle, which, to be fair, poor Dorian has to, like, skirt this line of, like, not getting killed by his father because his father has another heir who is, you know, sure, young, but we haven't met him. He's like in some boarding school, but he's supposedly like a spoiled little boy. But we know that Dorian has to be careful because his father's out here killing anyone he wants. His father's like, you looked at me weird? Dead. Off with their heads, okay? So Dorian's like, I gotta be really fucking careful. So yeah, he might not agree with his father's like antics, but he has to skirt that line. So, I mean, can we fully fault him? Yeah, we still can fully fault him. You're gonna just let this girl just death do nothing as you witness everyone else doing their best to try to make it not happen? So yeah, there's that. There is that. I've went on a tangent, but you know, these boys, they're out here judging her for having to be an assassin. Y'all rescued an assassin out of a slave encampment to win an assassin competition. Now she won it, she's an assassin, and y'all are like, like, get the fuck? What's she supposed to do? She's now pretty much in a beautiful prison with the king, but still not under free will. Seems like since the girl has lost her parents, she's been someone else's fucking slave. So give her a motherfucking break. And who knew that 4 chapters in I was gonna have so many feelings? I had some feelings. Okay, let's keep going. Okay. We are on page 174, chapter 22. What the fuck? What the fuck? My girl out here just loving everybody. Loving and leaving. Loving and leaving, okay? Do you, girl? Do you? But who the fuck is the love interest? It's nobody. It's her.
getting into this book, getting into this series. Why is it important? Because it's important to me. Who is it? Is this a fantasy romance? Or is this... It clearly is. Okay. But who the fuck is the love interest? Because reading book 1, I was like, ooh, we've got this girly who's an assassin who's gonna fall in love with the prince of an evil king, and it's gonna be interesting to see how that folds out. Guess what? Book 2, confused. Let me just be honest. Book 1, I was confused because I was like, there's some tension with the captain over here. Kale, I see you. Okay, there's some tension. Book 2, the tension is exploded. It's cracked open. It's arrived. It's wide open in this book. Okay. Okay, so is it Kale? Do I just believe that it's no longer the prince, Dorian? And it's Kale. Okay. Okay, but guess what? Something in my gut is telling me, no, no, no. Because you know what? He cannot wrap his head around what she does. He cannot get himself in line to realize, baby, she's an assassin. You can't be all up in her fucking business every time something happens that you're just like, oh no, you're not allowed to put yourself in danger. What else is she supposed to do? What else is she supposed to do? So something in my gut tells me, no, no, no. This is just a detour. What? You know what though? I guess I just have to enjoy the ride. Peep the new shirt. This ain't my first rodeo. Clearly it is. Clearly it's my first rodeo with the Sarah J. Maas books, because who the fuck is the love interest? Who is it? There's confusion here. I am confused. Also, Dorian, he's out here freezing. Like, turning into an ice prince? Is that what I'm getting? Is he just like a frosty little ice prince? Like, what? What? Yeah. Okay. Also, I think this will be funny. The other day I was on TikTok, and a like little thing, my dryer's done, a washer's done, a little thing popped up and said, who's your book boyfriend? I said, who is it? And okay, well, please don't judge me for this fucking picture because I screenshotted it and I just like wasn't thinking that maybe I'd show this to the vlog. But I don't know if this means anything. I don't know if, the only thing I know, because I had to ask, because I almost Googled it. She's, you know, she learned not to Google things, but I almost Googled it. But I thought, maybe don't, okay? So, because it felt very fantasy, and I was like, I know that the way Sarah has me feeling through book 1 and 2, that I'll probably read all of her books. So I had this feeling like it potentially could be a character in one of her worlds. So I screenshotted it, and I sent it to my friend who has read all of her books. And I said, do you know this character? And can I Google it? And she said, absolutely fucking not. Do not Google it. LOL. Do not do that. And also, all I can tell you, and then I was like, oh my god, am I gonna meet this character soon? And she said, all I can tell you is that he is part of the Sarah J. Maas world. So, let me, like I said, don't judge my face. Where is it? It was late, okay? Y'all probably already know who this is, because most people do, because I'm late to this game.
But this is my current book boyfriend who I haven't even met. And he will be introduced to me sometime in one of her worlds. Who knows which one. Hello, focus. Hello, you can see my TV in the background. Hello, stop. Can you see it? What does it say? Rowan Whitehorn? Who it be? Who is it? We shall find out. Maybe soon, maybe never. What if I get through this series and I'm like, fuck her? Like, potentially could happen. And then I'll never know. And then I'll never know, because I'll be like, you know what, fuck this. I don't see that happening, but also maybe because, again, who the fuck is the love interest? Also, it's so weird how I can tell that this is a fantasy romance because it's very heavily focused on the romance with both boys. Okay, but on my canvas spot today. But then the plot, the big part of the story, amazing. And I'm just like, what's happening? What's going on? What's this iron prison of mystery? What is down there? Who is down there? When do my fae friends come? Because I'm sure we've got magic people about to be like, here we are, it's time for war. So I'm invested. I'm here, I'm there, I'm invested. I will check in soon. That's my thoughts now. Bye. I finished Crown of Midnight a while ago, like I think last week, and this book hurt my feelings. I was living my best life, enjoying the who's the love interest, the banter, the fun, the vibes, until it very quickly reminded me that this is a fantasy and other shit's gonna happen, and other shit happened. Other shit happened. I almost cried when Naomi died. And I was sad about I was sad for her, but then, okay, let me tell you. Then, of course, Kale is like, didn't tell her, so shit happened that he could have probably fully prevented had he let her know that, hey, Princess is in danger. Your best friend in danger. Then, of course, Kale gets kidnapped, all this shit happens, but it's like, it also heavily hints that Naomi knew she was in danger and knew that with her death, it would kick a certain someone, Selena, into action. And then, so this happens, and I'm just like reeling, okay? I'm like, holy shit, this full, we're 100, that happened 100 pages in. Or not 100 pages, 100 pages to the end. And then it was just like I was on a fucking roller coaster that was barreling towards sadness. Just barreling towards that. And I was like, panic. I was panicking a little bit. And so much happened at the end of this book. We found out that Selena Faye, kind of seen that coming. That's what I was hoping for. Found out that, well, we kind of seen that Dorian, we kind of knew he was also
starting to become magical. I will tell you, when she gets into the locked room under the library and the monster that comes at her is hilarious to me, because that whole scene with her and Durian just like dipping out like, run bitch, we gotta go, really did make me laugh. But then when they go under and she tries to call Naomi back with her little, I think they're called wine marks, I'm not really sure, but the magic that still is working in their universe. And yeah, when she goes back down there, I knew you couldn't trust that little fucking courtesan, that little hoe. Can't trust him. Knew he was, I felt it. The whole time I was talking to my work friend who told me to read these, which, are we enemies? Maybe. This book hurt my feelings, so in theory, she hurt my feelings. But it's a joke. But yeah, so that whole scene, the last 50 pages of them accidentally calling a fucking demon back into the world, the demon getting Fleetfoot, absolutely not. There was 2 pages where I was having visceral reactions of just like throwing my book down, grabbing my phone, texting her, being like, absolutely fucking not, like, absolutely not. If this dog dies, I'm out. Like, I'm not finishing this, I'm out. And then also I was like, it was so intense. That the page and a half that all this shit happens was so incredibly intense. It was mind-blowing, and you found out so much information so fast. And so did Kale, found out information. And of course fucking Kale out here thinking he's doing what, I don't know what the fuck he's thinking, but what the fuck was he thinking? Why would he, I know his thought process was to send her to where her people were so that she could get the fuck out of town and be somewhere safe. Have you met her? Have you met her? Just wondering, have you met her? Because I don't think you have. He now gets her sent to the kingdom to assassinate the king and his son, and those are her distant relatives. All while she's like trying to, she wanted to work with Durian to like work on like protecting him. So now she has to pack all her shit. He gets her sent away in a day. Like, so fucking fast. What? How are you gonna make all the wrong decisions with her? Make her your enemy, why don't you? Make her your enemy, why don't you? So that is where we're at. I finished this. I clearly have thoughts. Did I love it? Absolutely. This is book 2. Okay, I should preference by saying this is book 2 for me. There is different reading orders for some, but this was book 2 for me, and this is, I believe, the book that made me realize, or started to make me realize, it did not matter if it was Durian or Kale. We had other issues at hand, and this is what I believe was the start to me being like, oh my god, excuse me, hold on, ow. So there's that. I believe I have some clips, and I should be hopefully entering clips in as I go. Fingers crossed. Okay, moving right along. I believe then I don't have this one physical. This is a Kindle read, and that is Internal Writer. Internal Writer by Liza Lone. Don't know if I've been saying her name right. Don't think I am. This is a series I've been reading since I was in 9th grade. and definitely far, far too young, but it is what it is. And I will continue to read this series until it's over. I'm not going to tell you what this one's about. It's like a dark romance, and that's all you need to know. So let's keep it moving. The next one I read was book 3 for me in the series, and that was The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. We have moved on to the prequel because, according to my friend, Sarah J. Maas says that the reading order is Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and then The Assassin's Blade. And to be honest, I think she just likes to torture us. I think she just finds it fun. Because so much happens at the end of this book that all I want to do is jump right back into where this is going. But now I'm here, about to get my heart ripped out again. Because guess what the prequel's about? Of course, it's gonna be about her relationship with Sam, her love that she talks about. But we already know how that ends. Guess what? We already know, okay? He's dead. Dead already. When Throne of Glass starts, we already know Sammy the sweetheart. That was silly. Jersey Shore reference, but for a dude. Dead. Dead. Gone. Bye. Horrifically. Tore her apart. So now we get to go back and get tortured. Anywho, I'm full ranted. So this book is a bunch of small short stories in one. So how many short stories are there? God. So there's 5 short stories and I'm on the 3rd one. So I have started it. I've read The Assassin and the Pirate Lord, The Assassin and the Healer, and now I'm on The Assassin and the Desert, and I'm on chapter 2 of that. And you know what? Let's just get prepared to get our hearts ripped out. I honestly don't know what else to tell you. I honestly don't know what else to tell you because that is what she wants us to do. She wants us to just hurt and feel hurt. So that's the update. Let's get reading. Yeah. I'll check in soon. Probably in tears. All right. Talk soon. Bye. Technically is the prequel, but when I started this, I was asking my friends how to read them, and we weren't really sure because she read them a little bit different. And then Sarah J. Maas released her reading order, and this was her reading order, so I decided to do it that way. The prequel is, I believe, 4 short stories of little, what am I trying to say? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 short stories of what is going on in Selena's life prior to the current story we're following, you know? Oh my gosh. And that's my review for you. Ouch. You know, 4 stars, first of all. 4 stars and ouch. That's all I have to say about this. Those who know. Ouch. Moving on to the next one, which would be book 25 for me, and that is Hair of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. This is book 4 for me, and this is a 5-star, baby. Ooh, 5 stars, okay? Yeah, I never thought I could fall in love with a man so fast and be so fucking confused by it, because boy, oh boy, did I fall in love. But also, still, like, should I be? There's a scene that I will always refer to in this, and I'm not going to spoil it, but something happens between the two of them, and I have to, like, make it okay in my head that I still love him, and it's okay because she's an assassin. So we listen, but we don't judge, okay? And my baby. Okay, let's move on. The next one up was Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, of course. This is book 5, right? This is book 5 for me. And let's see what I said. 5 stars. Have I told you how much I love a morally gray female? And one who gives 0 motherfucking fucks. Selena will always be my fave. She is... oh my gosh, okay? She is everything. And I saw so much of myself in her. Strong, badass, and determined as fuck. And yeah. Destroy your soul with these books. Do it. You know you want to. Destroy your soul with this series. And you'll come out a different person. On to the very next one, which is going to be book 6 for me, and that is clearly I was in it. Okay, there's a theme here. Clearly I was in it. That's Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. And what did I say about this? 5 stars. These books are hurting me. These books were hurting me at this point. Hurting, and I'm not lying. They were. I never actually cried in a book, and I think I've cried so many times reading these books. And not only that, but after I talk about these books, if I get too deep into talking about them, like surface level right now is fine, but if I think too hard and I start communicating about the story and what this taught me about love and friendship and just determined and love for oneself and love for one's people, oh my god, I will sob. So I cannot talk about it too much or I'm gonna cry, and I'm tearing up now, so let's keep moving, shall we? Yeah, okay, on to the next, and I'm sure you already know, which is gonna be book 7, Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas.
read that series and you know where I'm at. You know the pain, the suffering, the amount of I don't give up about what's happening in this book right now, okay? And that is what I'll say about that. So we're suffering with what we're reading right now.
I did not, what is it called? I did not tandem read these. So, just know that. I was a brave soul. Even though I knew, was I not ready? Okay, 5 stars. This book felt like a punishment for me. Good thing there was libraries, huge cats, and a very, very sassy healer. The healer saved it, the cat saved it, the library saved it, but damn, if you know, you know. Ugh. Okay, still 5 stars. Sarah J. Maas, this was a punishment, but you could do no wrong. And it is what it is. On to the next. And I already know you know. I mean, we know. Book 8. Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. The last book in the series. Book 8. And, yeah, of course it's a 5 stars. Let's see what I wrote. I said, listen, I have no words. These books destroyed me and taught me about love, friendship, and duty. They will forever be in my heart, and I will think about them daily. I will think about these characters, these people. They will be held in my soul and heart until the day I die. I'm gonna cry. It's so good, this story. I was not prepared getting in. Like, when I knew people read these and I was like, what's the big deal? Well, let me tell you, girl, there's a big deal, okay? And it's hurtful. Sarah J. Maas is a little bit of a freaking... Is it masochist? No. Sarah J. Maas is a sadist, okay? She loves to torture her readers. And I've only read one of her series, but don't worry. Girlie's getting to her, see all of them. She is fully in love and invested. I used to watch BookTube and think, come on. I thought this was just some kind of weird hype. Boy, did I not know. Boy, did I not know. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Go get your freaking, if you haven't already, go get your whole soul tore apart, stitched back together, and then wonder how you're going to live your life. Again. So if that didn't sell the book, I don't know what would. Yeah, so there's that. The final book in the series, and I'm not gonna lie to you, after this book, this is when I had, what did I write in my notes? This is when I had one of the biggest book hangover slumps I've ever had. This, I tried reading so many books after this. I tried to cleanse my soul or just like comfort myself with another book, and it just did not work, and I really struggled getting into another book after this. And so yeah, there's that. But then I did listen to my next book, which is book 30, so I don't have it, which is Legends and Lattes by Travis Balduri. And people really, really love this series, and it's just comforting and cozy and low stakes, and yeah. I give it a 3 stars. Very cute, very cozy. And I was able to listen to it and get through it without being like, I don't want to listen to this. Next one I read, which is going to be Heads Will Roll by Josh Winning. And this one was a 3.5 rounded down. This is a great summer slasher, and I did guess the twist kind of throughout, but still a very good book. Still a very good book. Still a fun little slasher read. Has the summer vibes and did what I needed it to do. Let's keep moving. The next one I don't have, most of the next, I think for the rest, except one of the last ones, I don't actually own. That would be book number 32, and that The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. This was a 3.5 star rounded up. Very cute, very funny, very silly, perfect palette cleanser. I had to do very light books for a while to get through them. And this was a very good palette cleanser. This was silly, this was fun, this is exactly what you need as like an easy read to just mend your soul a little bit. On to the next. Okay, this was the one that got me back in. Reminded me what I needed, you know? And that was The Invocations by Crystal Sutherland. This was a 4 star. I really loved this book. I enjoyed the plot and I enjoyed the nasty girls, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ickiness of it all. So yeah, I highly recommend this one, and keep it moving. We're coming up to the end here. The next one I read, which was book 34, this completed my Goodreads goal, which is the same for this year, 34 books. I'm hoping that I can double it, or at least read 52 books, a book a week. But I'm keeping it at 34 because I'm not going to pressure myself. This is not a competition to me. I'm not trying to compete with anyone, and I'm definitely not trying to compete with myself. So 34 is my goal, but if I can double it, that would be great. If I can get 52, that would be great too. If I get 34 and that's it, that's okay as well. Anyways, the next one after I take a sip is The Christmas Guest by Peter Swanson. This was a novella, and this is a 3.5 star rounded down, quick little read that gives you holiday vibes, but also the whodunit we all need, and that is what you need to know about that one. Good twist at the end too. One that I kind of saw coming, but wasn't able to guess it too soon, which is important to me in a thriller, I think. So yeah, there's that. The next one I read, which was book 35, was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This was a 3 stars. At first, I wasn't sure how I was feeling about this book, but once we got into it and we got into the plots and stuff, and it got kicked into high gear, I started to really enjoy it, so I will be continuing this series. But yeah, at first I was like, how am I feeling? So the first half I was like a little, what is this? But then when I got into it, I was like, okay, I can kind of see where this is going, and I'm liking it. So yeah, I enjoyed that. The second to the last book that I have, and the last book I have that I actually owned, was Looking for Lizzie, The True Story of an Ohio Madam, Her Sporting Life and Hidden Legacy by Deborah Lape. This book was amazing. I am currently doing her story on Paying for It right now. This one is written by the great-great-granddaughter, great-great-niece, or something like that, of the Madam Lizzie. And she is able to really go into her story and really find some very unique stuff from her story. Her story is kind of wild. So it's like 7, 8 husbands, lots of drama, and she marries into the families. It's crazy. So yeah, definitely check out my coverage on it, Paying for It, and I'll link it below. And the last book I read this year was Sleep Tight by J.H. Market, and I gave this 2 stars, and my good readings, some books go on far too long. This is one of them. It was far too long, and I listened to this one on audio. I almost DNF'd it, but it's an audio, and I was just like, whatever. I was listening to it while driving. Yeah, it started off strong, and then whoop, just far too long. I was like, okay. At the end, I was over it, to be honest. So there's that. Those are all the books I read in 2024. Hopefully I was able to add a little vlog style to this, add some clips into things, and I hope you enjoyed this. And yeah, I will see you next week with another vlog. And yeah, so I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you are reading all of your favorites. Let me know what you're reading currently. And yeah, if you're enjoying me and enjoying what I'm trying to bring to BookTube, please consider subscribing, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.